Majkowski hit his last 10 passes of the half for the Packers. 79-yard touchdown to Sterling Sharp for the final score, and Green Bay leads Dallas at the half 17-13. And welcome back to Lambeau Field, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Dan Jiggets. And Dan, actually the Cowboys are fortunate to be this close in the ball game. They have only 13 yards rushing, and even that was set up. The last touchdown by the Cowboys was set up on a bad play. It was a fumble.
Well, what we have is Don Majkowski pulled out from center for Blair Bush a little too early, and as a result the ball went down on the ground. And watch Eugene Lockhart, number 56, is going to recover it for the Cowboys, scoop it up, take it in 40 yards for the touchdown. That really is what kept Dallas in the ball game to this point. Now, one of the problems that they're having is they've not been able to run the football successfully. At least that's how it looks on the top of it, but they really only tried 4 rushes so far in this ball game.
Of those 13 yards, 12 go to Herschel Walker, only 6 first downs for Dallas. Take a look at some of the statistics. They are very revealing of what's taken place thus far. You see the rushing yards heavily in favor of Green Bay, the passing yards in favor of the Pack, and the total yards very one-sided. Time of possession has also been heavily in favor of Green Bay.
And that leads right into the running game. If you don't run the football, there's no way that you're going to get the time of possession up in your ball game.
Take a look at the play selection. Now, Walsh looked good. 11 of 16, 117 yards and a touchdown. Found Michael Irvin 4 times. But the story really has been Majkowski, 12 of 15, hitting his last 10. CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. The Gillette Apra Plus system and Gillette foaming, together the best a man can get. And by Levi's Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Outside Lambeau Field, it's quiet in Green Bay today. Not much traffic out there, and the reason is 57,063 of the residents here in this fine city are right here at Lambeau Field. Ruzick to kick off, and it's a high kick that will be taken by Workman, and Workman carries it to the 37-yard line. So it was a short kick by Ruzick and a return of 23 yards. Don Majkowski, his numbers in the first half were very impressive, and he's had that hot hand hitting the last 10. Came into this game with 7 touchdowns but 9 interceptions. 63% completion ratio.
And look at those numbers. Completion ratio, as you mentioned, 63%, 59-79, 861 yards, 7 touchdowns, and the key, only 2 interceptions.
That's what he's been doing in the second half this year.
Yeah.
Packers try to bang it straight ahead, get a couple.
Well, you mentioned just before he threw the touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp that he had tendonitis in the shoulder and is kind of heating it up, and it takes a little while for the arm to get warm. When he visited with us yesterday, he came in with an ice pack on the arm, and that's unusual. I knew he pitched when he was in prep school in college, and I asked him if that was one of those kinds of things that pitchers always do, and he said, yeah, but he's had that problem with his shoulder. But certainly in the second half, he gets it heated up pretty good.
He went to Fork Union prep school. That's where Testaverde went, I think. Second down and 9. Fullwood with a second carry of this half out to the 43-yard line. Tackle was made by Bill Bates. We'll show you where they stand in the NFC Central. Chicago, as you know, unbeaten but trailing Tampa Bay right now by a bundle. Green Bay is in second place, 5 points away from being unbeaten, but they are 2-2. And Minnesota and Tampa Bay right there with them. Now in the NFC East, the Giants are the unbeaten team in that division, and then you see the others that are evened up, and of course Dallas 0 for the NFL yet this year. Bad case of the Ophers. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 4 at the 43 from Majkowski. Steps up into the pocket, has plenty of run across the 40 to the 35-yard line. He had plenty of room to run and a gain of 22.
And there's that old baseball player, and you saw that nice little hook slide in there. Don't let those guys hit you. You're pretty valuable to your ball club. Now this is a coverage run here. Don Majkowski can't find anybody open downfield. You saw Sterling Sharp right across the middle of your screen. He was covered very well. And he knows he's got some athletic ability and he can run pretty fast. Get downfield now, hit the ground, slide in there, and don't let anybody get a cheap shot on you. It's kind of like a Ricky Henderson slide. You know, you've been seeing that in the Major League Baseball playoffs. Watch this slide here. He's safe at second base.
I get excited when he runs. I almost said plenty of run to room. First down at the 37 for the Pack. Majkowski has the completion. Woodside to the 20-yard line.
Trying to figure out what was going on that play. Ron Francis and Randy Shannon were both back trying to help Ray Horton with the deep receiver. And that was Sterling Sharp, and nobody came down to pick up Keith Woodside, who was up underneath, and he was right down near the sideline, right along the line of scrimmage. Nobody covered him.
A gain of 17. It is the 4th catch for Woodside in this ball game.
Another guy who Lindy Infante says has really come a long way and really developed an all-around back for him.
Kemp to the top of the screen. Sharp to the bottom. Fullwood in motion. Majkowski has the backside of the pocket closed down on him, and Lockhart almost had an interception. Boy, Randy Shannon came to really hit the pressure on Majkowski, and Lockhart had the pass right in his hands.
He sure did, but it was a little bit behind him, and he slipped and fell. But watch Shannon, number 94, with the pressure here on Majkowski. Majkowski has some time to throw the ball. You see him setting up in the pocket there. Now he gets a little antsy and kind of comes out and unloads it. And it goes to Eugene Lockhart, who just can't handle it. Watch the ball's thrown behind Lockhart a little bit. He's trying to adjust to it by turning back around. That's a tough thing to do when you're going full speed in the other direction.
On 2nd and 10, play action, overthrown, and Majkowski just threw that ball over the head of Fullwood because there was a whole lot of pressure coming, and Del Rio left Majkowski on the ground.
It seems like when the Packers get down here in that red zone, you know, near that 20-yard line or inside the 20-yard line, Dallas is bringing a lot of folks to try to rush the passer a little bit. And so far, it's been, you know, fairly successful for him on a couple of different occasions.
Look at Jimmy Johnson. The first time the Cowboys have been back to Lambeau Field since the Ice Bowl back in 1967, New Year's Eve. And who can forget the quarterback sneak by? Bart Starr.
I was talking to Dick Nolan, who's on that Cowboy staff, and Max McGee, who announces for Green Bay up here, and they were going over some old notes about that game. Both of them were in it.
3rd down and 10. Again, there's pressure, and again, Majkowski has to unload it. There is a flag.
I believe it's defensive holding downfield. Now we got another one back in the backfield of the Packers, so we may have offsetting.
Majkowski's checking his right arm, make sure it's all right. Look at that, he's checking his forearm.
I just wanted to make sure his wristbands were on straight. Yeah, there we go, make the adjustment. See, they were down on his hand a little bit too far.
Don Majkowski, ACC guy out of the University of Virginia.
You got to look good to play good. I knew you were going to get that ACC pop in there, too.
We've got 2 fouls on the play. We've got holding, number 45, defense. We have intentional grounding, number 7, offense. Penalties offset. 3rd down.
So Manny Hendricks was called first. Majkowski was called second, and Lindy Infante doesn't like that call.
Where could the call have come from? Intentional grounding. I didn't see that on the play. The ball was overthrown to the receiver, but intentional grounding, that's stretching it a little bit. Now Majkowski's going to be under a little bit of pressure. He's got to dump the ball off. He's trying to get it off downfield. Now watch here. He squirts out of the pocket there. Now sets up and throws the football. He threw it long. Threw it towards the sideline. Boy, I don't know. I can't call that intentional ground. If you got a receiver somewhere in that area, if you're under duress and you throw the football away, that's part of football. I don't know how that call is going to be made.
Well, Mark Bright has his flag. He's going to put that one away. He's the guy that stands back there. The referee stands behind the quarterback, so that was his call.
Well, I know what he'd like to see is he'd like to see that running back a little bit closer to the football, but if you're a quarterback under duress, you try to unload it. You know, that's a smart thing to do. I don't think you should get penalized for that.
It brings up 3rd down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Majkowski has a whole lot of receivers down here to the left side. This ball is incomplete. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. But he had 3 receivers on the left side of the field and never looked off that way. It was intended for Sterling Sharp.
He had 3 of them who basically made their cuts in different areas of the field, but they all made their cuts along the same line, and that's why it was a little confusing to figure out even who he was throwing to on the play. He had Kemp, Query, and then deep he had Sharp.
Chris Jackie is on to attempt the field goal. It'll be a 38-yard attempt. He missed from 47 already, and this one's blocked, and it's no good.
I believe that was Too Tall once again that got a hand on it. Came through the middle. You know, Too Tall blocks passes, he blocks kicks. He blocked one on me when we were playing against the Cowboys, as a matter of fact.
Even after being blocked, it almost made it. That's why I hesitated.
Watch here, right on this side of play, that's where it's going to get blocked from, and I believe it's number 72, Ed Too Tall Jones, makes a habit out of doing these kinds of things. You see him reaching right up there in the middle of the line of scrimmage, just tipped it enough to throw it off course.
Now watch, it still almost made it. It hits the upright. See that? Hits the crossbar right on the corner.
They should have signs that help us. Have signs that like, slow down, cop hiding behind building.
Young man, you're in big trouble.
I hate that when they ask you.
Do you know how fast you were going?
No. You know what I tell them? You know why I said, how about you? You had to catch up with me. I was driving down the street and I saw a sign. It said, slow down, road coming to an end. What about slowing down for? Go off the cliff slowly.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Oh, I love it. What is it? Wrong way. How do they know where I'm going?
At 1,184,880 miles, a Mercedes-Benz 180D is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most durable car. Just how far can a Mercedes actually go? Frankly, nobody knows.
Hey, check out the old timer.
Come on, will ya? Come on! I got it. I got it. I got it. It was the chance of a lifetime.
I know.
Hey, see if you can hang on to this.
The best comes shining.
You know, Tim, looking at the Cowboys press guide, Ed Jones has batted down 82 passes in 9 seasons since the stats were first kept. And, of course, 14 last season. Of course, that was a field goal, but I'd like to see his numbers on those as well.
He did get credit for blocking that field goal. Cowboys have first down. This is Herschel Walker. Needs a block from Irvin, and Irvin blocks him right into Herschel. But Herschel will be close to a first down. Gain of 9.5.
We talked with Ed Too Tall Jones yesterday about a lot of things, you know, how he survived for 15 years in the National Football League and, you know, kind of that Nolan Ryan type of thing. How do you just keep hanging on and doing a good job at it, too, by the way. And he mentioned something that's pretty interesting about how the game has changed a great deal in terms of how people play now with pain and that kind of thing, and how they're not like the old throwbacks were.
Drew Pearson was telling me that it is really an upset if you ever see Ed Too Tall Jones in the training room. Just never goes in there.
You kind of got a kick out of that when you mentioned that.
I really did. The only thing he tapes are his joints on his hand, and now he puts a couple of wraps of tape around his ankles only because he'll get fined if he doesn't.
This is cosmetics.
Herschel has the first down.
But the other interesting thing that he said was that when he was boxing, I'm talking about Ed Too Tall Jones, he said when he was boxing, he really did not want to come back to football, but some very personal problems that he has never told anyone what those problems were, made him come back to football. But he says when it's all over and he retires, he wants to get a stable of boxers and become a manager.
Said he didn't even tell his family the reason why he stopped boxing with a 6-0 record and came back to football. He said he was emphatic when he left football that he was not coming back, and he meant it. He did not want to come back to football, but he has, and he's played well. Last year, one of his best seasons ever. 38 years old. Like Kareem Jabbar, he just keeps getting better. Herschel Walker, left side. Tackle made by Mark Murphy. That is no telling how long Too Tall can play. He's still in great shape, and he still plays well.
You know, that Dallas running game is now trying to get cranked up a little bit. That time I saw Nate Newton, number 61, get his man Sean Patterson and kind of push him out of the way and let Herschel break the ball back behind him. Got a chance to visit with Nate yesterday, and he's a very comical guy too. You know, when you get Nate in the same room with Michael Irvin and Herschel Walker, could be kind of a lot of fun.
Second down and 7 for Dallas. Walker, left side, breaks a tackle to the 40-yard line.
If the Cowboys want to be successful in the second half, they have got to run Herschel Walker. They got to put the ball in his hands and in Johnston's hands and allow these guys to get the running game going, because that's the only way you're going to use up the clock. That's the only way you're going to keep the ball out of Don Majkowski's hands. And you know, if he's got a hot hand in the second half, you better do that.
2 plays ago, it was Herschel running around the left side for 9, ran right up the back of Michael Irvin, and they were laughing about that last night when we were sitting and chatting.
That's
with
right.
him.
Michael told him, he says, Herschel, if you run up my back one more time, I'm not going to block for you.
He didn't. If he had thrown the block, they would have had the first. 4th straight running play for Dallas. It's 3rd down and 2 at the 40. Walker again. Spins off, gains 1. Brian Noble met him head on. It'll bring up 4th down and short.
Brian Noble's a real solid linebacker for the Packers. Every year, and you look around, you look at who leads the team in tackles, who's right up there, and Brian Noble's always there playing solid linebacker for the Packers.
Mike Saxon comes on 4th and 1. Cowboys are not going to go for it. And one thing Jimmy Johnson said yesterday, you won't see any fake punts either.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeff Query is deep for the pack. He stands at the 17-yard line.
Said the fake punts have been put on ice.
Got to look at Vince Workman as well. He's at the 31 in case there's a short punt. And there is. Saxon shanks this one. It hits at the 35. Gets a Cowboy roll. Goes out at the 34-yard line. So Mike Saxon has a 26-yard punt with 8:28 remaining, 3rd period. Next Sunday, our NFL coverage continues at 11:30 Central Time with the NFL Today. Then you'll see either San Francisco at Dallas, that's where Dan and I will be, or Green Bay at Minnesota. That's all next Sunday on CBS Sports, and it starts with these guys right here, the NFL Today.
The 4 horsemen.
Looking forward to going down to Dallas. Cowboys and 49ers. Here it's 1st down and 10 at the 33 for Majkowski. 3-step drop, drills it sharp to the 40. Stretches out to the 41.
Sterling knows he's going to get that, he's going to get a big cushion right now from the Cowboys and Ron Francis. Now watch, see that cushion? It's about 8 or 9 yards, and right away, Ron Francis starts backing up. Sterling Sharp runs the stop route, comes back, gets the ball. It's very well thrown by Don Majkowski. That's the kind of stuff that also keeps the ball on the field and burns up the clock.
And you burn him for a 79-yarder.
Yeah, you can get a little cushion there.
He'll play soft. That's his 4th catch, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Gained 8 on that last one. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Brent Fullwood. 1st down Green Bay to the 47-yard line. Ed Jones.
Tim, we talked about how Brent is running with a lot of determination. You saw that time. It took about 4 or 5 Cowboys to finally stop him. That's what you want to see out of your running backs when they carry that ball up into the line of scrimmage. Demand some respect from the defense, and that's what Brent Fullwood's doing. Watch him here on the play again. Number 21 right in the middle of your screen, takes the handoff from Majkowski, and he just punishes that defense when he gets the ball. Now, he's also using good eyesight here. He sees the hole now. He turns that shoulder, squares it up. Ed Too Tall Jones is trying to bring him down, as we mentioned before. Ed's about 6'9", and you see, takes a couple of Cowboys to do the job.
Ed Jones is also 270. Fullwood's 209. There he is again on 1st down. Boy, this time Lockhart really tags him. Lockhart wasn't first there. Hamill was, but I'll tell you, Lockhart cleaned up pretty well.
Eugene came in and they call him the hitting machine, and this now you can see why. Here he is right in the middle of your screen, number 56. Now watch him put the shot there on Brent Fullwood. Ooh, boy, he delivered on that one. Got that shoulder all the way in there.
See, Hamill got him low, set him up, and Lockhart just came in.
A little Timmy and Lassie action.
Tucked the tail, sky the eyes, and put him on his back. 75 yards and 19 carries now for Fullwood. It's 2nd down and 8. Gets the 1st down. Ron Francis had to come up and make the tackle, but it wasn't up for the 1st.
That was another coverage rush because Majkowski did not have anybody open. Good coverage by the Dallas secondary downfield. But watch Too Tall and his technique now working against Alan Weingrad, number 73. There's that underarm rip. Take him upfield, shoulder slap. look for the quarterback. Oh, he's over the other side. He's running. Never going to catch him, so take the play off and go for the first down marker.
Thought it was interesting when we asked what was tougher to train for, boxing or football. He says no comparison. Boxing by far.
You know, there's no timeouts in boxing, and there's no
place
substitutions.
To hide.
We mentioned how successfully Don Majkowski's been running the football. He's got 41 yards as opposed to the Dallas offense with only 34. So Majkowski's having a good day pulling that rock down and running with it.
That could actually be Majkowski versus Herschel, because 33 of those 34 yards for Dallas have been Herschel. Well, I gave him the first down, and I was a little bit quick. He still has to go about 2 more inches. So it'll be 3rd down and a couple of inches.
You know, it's funny, you look at Majkowski's name, everybody wants to call him Majkowski, but the J is silent. And even when we talk to the quarterbacks from the Cowboys, they call him Majkowski. Steve Walsh did.
But he likes the nickname Magic.
Oh, yeah.
He even considered maybe I should be called Don Magic.
He comes up with a couple more of those 79 yards to Sterling Sharp, and I think there'd be no problem changing his name.
Haddix in the backfield with Workman. Play action. And it's incomplete. It was intended for Vince Workman, and the crowd doesn't like that call at all.
No, I think they're also going to get holding against the Packers. Flags thrown right in the offensive line. You see the offensive lineman talking to the officials with their arms out. You know it's trouble.
We've seen Vince Workman, the rookie, a lot today out of Ohio State.
Holding, number 65, offense, 3rd down.
Ron Hallstrom. 3rd penalty of the game for Green Bay. 2 have been on Hallstrom. But I was going to mention Workman. Infante really likes Workman. He's not really ready yet to play, says Infante, but he says that he is some kind of tough. And he really likes the way he does play, and he thinks he's going to be here for a long, long time.
Pretty complete back for him. You know, it was funny on that play, the penalty, as a result of Dallas accepting the penalty, the offense for the Packers had to come back on the field. They were all the way over on the sideline on the bench. They thought it was going to be 4th down.
3rd and 11 now at the 46. Look at the pack all lined up front. Majkowski with a quick drop and a throw to Kemp, and they aren't going to get there. Nice defensive play by Dallas to the 49-yard line. Everson Walls was all over him, but boy, did the Cowboys load up.
They did load up, but you know, when you have the Packers spreading the field like that on the horizontal and vertical stretch, then all of a sudden you got to respect all of that, so you can't really blitz as much as you want to.
So Don Bracken comes on to punt. It's only the 2nd punt for him this afternoon. His first punt went 40 yards. Derek Shepard is deep for Dallas. Shepard played with New Orleans the first 3 weeks of the season. First 4 weeks of the season, was acquired this past Wednesday. And Clint Didier downs it for Green Bay at the 21. A punt of 27 yards. 4:40 remains, 3rd period. It's still 17-13 Green Bay.
It's been said that a good beer is like a good man. If you look beneath the surface, invariably, the best will come shining through. Smooth, never bitter Miller beer.
By that man, a Miller beer, the best comes shining through.
Recently, Road and Track magazine concluded a search for the world's 5 best cars. After exhaustive testing and analysis, they chose 4 exotic sports cars. And even more significantly, only 1 sedan. The Mercedes-Benz 300E.
Send up a crossfoot. Give me an app check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone is so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum.
up. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
An SEC collision. Tommy Hudson pilots LSU against Reggie Slack and Auburn. Tiger meets Tiger next Saturday on CBS Sports.
So LSU Auburn's the college game next week on CBS. Everywhere we go, everybody wants to know about their alma mater. There's an Auburn Tiger right there. Brent Fullwood, third-round pick out of Auburn. Fine running back for Pat Dye. That's next week. LSU, the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle. Play action for Walsh, and he's in trouble and goes down. The sack will go to Tim Harris. He now has 6.5 for the year. A Pro Bowler this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's going to Hawaii this year. He's going to make the trip. He's working against Darrell Johnston on the play number 48 for the Packers. I mean, excuse me, for the Cowboys. He's right at the top of your screen right here. That's Tim Harris rushing the passer inside. He's going to beat his man on the line of scrimmage. Nobody really blocks him. You see Johnston, number 48, trying to face up on him. He just can't do it. Harris gives him that little stall technique and then goes around and grabs Steve Walsh. This guy's headed for Hawaii, though, believe me.
3-year sack leader for the Pack.
Had 13 last season, I believe, 13.5 sacks.
He has 34.5 for his career. Loss of 9, second and 19. Martin runs out of bounds on the 18-yard line, or correction, 24-yard line. Let's go to New York now. Here's Brent Musburger. Brent?
Well, Tim, the comeback underway for Chicago in the second half against Tampa Bay. Tomczak zips his touchdown pass to Sanders, and they have pulled to within a touchdown, 28-21, back to Tim.
Oh, the folks in this area want to keep an eye on that game. They've been watching the scoreboard, Dan, and they've posted those scores.
That's right. They've been cheering because the Bears have been behind. But it's interesting that Thomas Sanders is playing for the Bears. That heat must be getting to the Bears down there because usually Neil Anderson will be back there in the backfield making those kinds of receptions.
Green Bay 2-2 in the NFC Central. On 3rd and 12, Walsh with time, throws deep. Incomplete. Ken Stills was the defensive back.
Tim Harris is heating up the pass rush. He is heating up the pass rush on Steve Walsh. Here he is right here at the bottom of your screen. Watch him work that corner real hard. That forces Steve to unload the football before he's really comfortable to do it. Beats Kevin Gogan with a head slapper, the arm slap, arm over, and gets to the quarterback along with Robert Brown. Good pressure that time by the Packer defense.
Good defense by Ken Stills. Irvin had the ball and Stills ripped it loose. Saxon to punt. Inside his own 10. And Query is deep for the Packers. Here comes pressure. Saxon gets a high boomer this time that'll take Query all the way back to the 24-yard line. He get nudged there by Junior Tartalatossi, and the crowd wanted a flag, but it wasn't enough to draw one. After a 53-yard punt, Query says, hey, I called for fair catch.
Yeah, but that's a little incidental contact. Come on, you're not going to get that one. The guy just barely touches him.
Let him know he was there.
Filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football. Bo knows basketball, too. Bo knows tennis? No. Bo knows weights.
Bo, you don't know diddly.
It's 8:47. It's 22 degrees. And Andy Cavana's father is learning all about his antifreeze.
Dad, where are you?
The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
You know what you're seeing a
Tim
lot
Brandt and Dan Jacobs, before you say anything, let me just tell you, this is padding to keep the big guy away from me. Now, tell him what it is.
You'll see a lot of the linemen wearing these knee stablers, and of course it's named the Anderson knee stabler, and George Anderson is the trainer for the Raiders, who created this thing for Kenny Stabler, who's an analyst for CBS, by the way. But what it is it protects your knees on the outside, protects them from those tears when people pile into the side of your legs. And you'll see a lot of linemen down on the field wearing them today.
There's one right there, but why'd you put it on my arm?
You want me to lift your leg up here?
First down at the 25. Fullwood, right side. I think a moment ago I said he was a third-round pick, obviously a first-round pick out of Auburn. Brett Fullwood, tackle made by Randy Shannon. Remember doing those games down there, Auburn, when Fullwood was playing? For Pat Dye.
They get it cranked up down there pretty good, huh?
Boy, they sure do. Second down and 8 at the 26. Fullwood again breaks a tackle. Looks like he's dancing on the light bulb out to the 33-yard line. Ray Horton finally takes him down.
Ray Horton made him dance on the ceiling, though. After a while, he picked him up and pulled his feet up. Look at the comparison there between the running backs. Herschel Walker with 8 rushes, only 8 rushes for 33 yards. Brett Fullwood's had a busy day with 85 yards on 21 rushes. But the key there is Herschel Walker's finally gotten his average per rush up to 4.1 yards. I believe it was at 2.9 coming into this ball game.
Herschel had only 8 carries for 10 yards in that first game against New Orleans. That didn't sit well. He was rather vociferous about getting more involved in the offense. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 1. Here come the Cowboys. Sharp with a fantastic catch to the 46-yard line, right over top of Ray Horton.
Boy, I tell you, Don Majkowski, though, credit Don Majkowski with, again, reading the blitz and dumping the football off on the hot read. This guy's come a long way as a quarterback, sees the field very well, and we talked to him about that. Says he comes over and checks down on 3 different levels now. Watch him complete this one, 12 yards. It's a 5th catch for Sterling Sharp. Makes a nice grab up in the air.
A gain of 12. It'll be first down at the 45. Pretty impressive numbers.
Saw him take that downfield look just now.
Backs out pressure by Jeffcoat. Sharp can't hold on to it. Majkowski unloaded, did a great job getting it out to Sharp, but Sharp couldn't hold it. Boy, Jeffcoat was coming in a hurry. What a gorgeous day here in the Green Bay area. You see the foliage as we post up the scores for you on the CBS Sports Wire. But it's breezy.
Yeah, and the breeze is blowing right in here into the press box. And as I said in the first half, I can't believe you went out and put that sweater on.
I know it's not the Ice Bowl.
Gotta play cold.
But it's nippy. 1967. What was it for the Ice Bowl? 13 below?
Yeah, we're wind chill about 46 below.
Yeah.
59, something like that. Cold.
Majkowski on 2nd down and 10. Whole lot of trouble, but he gets by Jones. Makes the completion. Kemp has the first.
Eugene Lockhart knocked Perry Kemp about 5 yards up the field when he hit him. He hit him so hard.
A gain of 17.
Magic again gets some pressure this time from Too Tall Jones. Slips out of that pressure and finds himself rolling around on that right side. Watch him here now. Watch Too Tall come in with the pressure. Number 72 right there. See Magic pull a little Magic slip underneath Too Tall Jones. Fires the ball out to Perry Kemp. Now watch this hit here by Eugene Lockhart. See how that makes Perry stumble about 5 or 6 yards forward.
But a big play and a big gain. First down at the 37. Under a minute to play now, 3rd quarter. Again, there's pressure on Majkowski. And he throws it away. It was intended for Aubrey Matthews. Matthews couldn't hold it, but Dean Hamill had the pressure on Majkowski and made him throw quickly.
If you're looking at the Dallas defense now, you say, hey, why not? Let's bring the house. Why not? We're going to play man-to-man coverage down here. If we're going to get burned in those zones, let's bring some people and force this quarterback to, put some pressure on him now, see what he's made of a little bit. Certainly he's been effective with the pressure, but you can't stop just because he's been successful with it.
47 seconds remain in this period. It's 17-13 Green Bay. Second down and 10 at the 37 for the Packers. Majkowski has a man open. Fontenot, touchdown. 37 yards. Fontenot came clear, made the catch, and Chris Jackie comes on for the extra point. And it's good. (24-13) Green Bay.
Okay, now what happened on the play, though, Tim, is when Dallas first came up, they came up in a press situation. You see all along, these defensive backs were all covered right down here. Now they moved off and moved back to these positions. Herman Fontenot takes off on the go route, and as a result, he just beats his man on the fly pattern. Now watch this play. He's at the top of your screen, comes around on the outside there. You see him at the top of the screen now, and he's just gone. But it looked like man-to-man. They thought they were going to get the blitz early. They just took off on the play. Fontenot came out of the backfield. Here's another angle of it. You see 27, Herman Fontenot. He's in the backfield, slides out to that sideline up in the top, and takes off. And he's working against a linebacker, Randy Shannon, number 94. And Everson Walsh has got some deep help on him, but he's just in the end zone before anybody can get back there.
Fontenot's first touchdown of the year, trade with Cleveland. He got here to Green Bay. Second touchdown today. 40 seconds still remain, third period. It's 24-13 Green Bay. Chris Jackie to kick off. James Dixon and Derek Shepard are deep for the Cowboys. This is Dixon. Falls down once, gets up and falls down again at the 18, and that's where Dallas will have it, first down.
And I mentioned how slippery that field was, and how short they had cut the grass. And once again, you see somebody slipping and falling on it. It's a nice dry day. It's been dry up here for the last couple of days, and really no reason to be slipping other than the fact that grass is cut so short. Now, if you're the Dallas Cowboys here, you're still in the ball game. You can't panic and get away from your game plan, but you got 14 points in order to get ahead in this ball game. And so now you start working the clock a little bit, work your running game, stay with it a little bit, and your short passing game to get you downfield.
Johnston and Walker are the setbacks. It's Herschel Walker. He runs into Big Tim Harris, and he goes nowhere.
I think if Dallas wants to run the football, though, they've got to run it between the tackles. They can't be running outside. I think they're an inside-the-tackle football team, particularly with Herschel Walker in the backfield. You start running out there where that guy is number 97, and you're not going to have a very successful day. Stay between the tackles. Let your big guys up front tee off on that defensive line and just remove them from the line of scrimmage.
Well, before they line up again, they'll have to go to the other end of the field, because that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Green Bay 24, Dallas 13. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Hi, Cheryl Miller coming to you for Valley Banks with another financial tip. You can avoid many bank service charges by consolidating finances at one bank. Reorganizing your current accounts will often entitle you to numerous free or reduced price services. For help with becoming a smart money manager, see your Valley banker today.
Strong, helpful, friendly, that's the Valley Bank.
He doesn't know it, but something amazing is about to happen to Sally Johnson at her local Lube Pros. In just 10 minutes, Lube Pros will change the oil using quality Pennzoil, change the filter, lube the chassis, check belt, PVC valve, air filter, steering shocks, exhaust wipers, tire pressure, top off all fluids, including transmission, power steering, battery, brake, differential, and washer fluid. Clean the windshield, vacuum the interior. You get world-class protection with Pennzoil products, and at Lube Pros, you get a lot more than just an oil change. Register to win one of 100 Dodge Dakota 4x4 pickups to be given away by Pennzoil during the 100th anniversary.
Hey, where's the food?
How about tacos?
Yeah, tacos.
Yeah, tacos.
Taco Bell introduces Tacos to Go. Now get our original tacos in a 10-pack for $4.89 or a 6-pack for just $2.94. Packed and ready to go. Anywhere you've got a few hungry friends. Tacos to Go. At this price, it won't take much to keep them quiet.
Maureen Jaeger. You always know when it's Action 2 news.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste, so tap into the cold. The U.S. Army, where you get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Chrysler, where we still believe there is no luxury without engineering.
We start the final 15 minutes with the Cowboys trailing by 11. And the rookie Steve Walsh, the quarterback. This is Herschel Walker with a brilliant cut inside and powers his way out to the 32-yard line.
Counter OT. You saw Kevin Gogan leading that play around the left side for the Cowboys. Nice block by him and a nice one by Crawford Kerr allowed Herschel Walker to spring on that play. You also saw, just before we came back, we saw Tim Harris, number 97 for the Packers, working the crowd a little bit. You know, he gets that crowd worked up when he gets down near the end zones. And Jerry Markbright turned around to him and said, cut it out.
Look at this, second half points for this season, 97-7. Herschel gained 13, longest run of the day for Walker. First down at the 32 Cowboys.
You see Harris running around, number 97. He told us he was going to do that, pick his spots and blitz off of that.
Hit almost immediately by Bob Nelson, and a flag flies quickly. Tim Harris lined up on the right side. Walsh audibleized, sent the play the opposite way, and there's a flag.
5-yard face mask foul. Number 79, defense. It's still first down.
That's Bob Nelson, the nose tackle.
But you saw Tim Harris bouncing up and down along the line of scrimmage, trying to find that little spot where he wanted to rush in from. But he told us yesterday that's one of the things he's going to do. He's going to be able to, they're going to give him some flexibility to find the right spot on each play and just kind of pick it and go.
That's the fourth penalty for Green Bay. It'll be 1st and 5 at the 37. Correction, 34. Irvin has the completion. It'll be a first down for the Cowboys. This one out to the 44-yard line. And Ron Pitts will get credit for that tackle. Cowboys being patient, not leaving their game plan.
And that's what you really have to do in this situation. You can't panic and just start throwing the football all over the park unless you know how to do that very well. Stay with your game plan, use your running game, and effective passing game short, and you'll get down there.
Herschel Walker cuts inside, gets back to the line of scrimmage. That'll be all for Herschel. Sean Patterson with the tackle. Great pursuit by the entire defense from Green Bay.
And I tell you, Herschel Walker did great to get back to the line of scrimmage. He had him boxed up. They had him boxed up in the backfield. And watch when he takes off. Watch in this area here. This is where you want to try to establish the corner on a run play. And watch how Green Bay is able to string this out, go right down the line of scrimmage. You see Gogan there got pushed back in the backfield by Robert Brown. All of a sudden, Herschel's 5 yards in the backfield, and Packers are coming at him. He did a great job to get back to the line of scrimmage. No corner on that play.
It'll be 2nd down and 10. James Dixon comes in as a wide receiver for the Cowboys. Martin in motion. Harris is coming. The completion to Walker, and Herschel takes it into Green Bay territory at the 49-yard line. The tackle made by Burnell Bucky Dent, but a lot of pressure backside by Tim Harris once again.
We talked about how he can pick his spots. We saw him earlier on the opposite side of the defensive line. This time he moves over to the defensive right side and rushes the passer.
Tim Brand along with Big Dan Jiggets. Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's 3rd down and 4 at the 49. The Packers lead the Cowboys 24-13. The quarterback for Dallas in his first NFL start is Steve Walsh right there. Here comes the pack. Walsh to Herschel Walker, incomplete. Herschel was guarded tightly by Tiger Green.
Guess where the pressure came from? Number 97, Tim Harris.
Harris doesn't want to leave the field.
He's having too much fun out there right now. And that's what those guys love to do, is rush the passer. And then you're going to be back to 10 yards. They just tee it up and go after you.
Ron Pitts will be deep for the Packers. Mike Saxon will punt for Dallas. There's Pitts. 4-year veteran out of UCLA. A wobbly kick. Pitts will fair catch it at the 15. A 34-yard punt, no return. And with 11:25 remaining now in the ball game, it's 24-13 Green Bay. Time running out for Dallas.
What good is an abundance of rich, soft leather in a luxury car if it doesn't have the stopping power of anti-lock brakes? What good is more legroom than the biggest Cadillac if your car doesn't have Ultra Drive, the world's most advanced transmission? And how satisfying is elegant styling without Crystal Key, a better warranty than Rolls or Mercedes? The all-new Chrysler Fifth Avenue. There is no luxury without engineering.
Attention football fans. Get a free NFL warm-up jacket when you buy 10 rolls of pink insulation R19 or higher from, you know who. But hurry, offer ends October 15th.
We used to have a chair, and my father used to come up from work every night, and he used to sit in this one chair, and all the change from his pockets would empty out into the chair. We would all go flying to that chair, and we'd take all the change and save. Did it for years.
How many people ever broke their neck falling backwards in a
How many
chair,
fathers
honestly?
broke
their kids' necks leaning back.
If you fall out of a tree and break your neck, I'm going to kill you. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
In or out, in or out. That was a big one. My mother used to say that all the time. You're going to stay in, you're going to come out. Because you're going to let the air conditioning in. Yeah.
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Levi's 100% Cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Green Bay has dominated time of possession, and that will be a key now as we head into the final 11 minutes and 25 seconds, because the Packers want to eat up the rest of the clock, and the Cowboy defense has to get the ball back, trailing 24-13.
Well, the Cowboys talk about being aggressive on defense, and one of the ways to be aggressive on defense and mean it is to block some passes, strip the ball away from the ball carriers, and recover the fumbles. That's how you get your offense back on the field quicker, and maybe you can run one of them in for a score.
Green Bay has been known to turn the ball over this season. We've already seen Eugene Lockhart pick up one fumble and run it in for a touchdown. First down, Packers at the 15. Brent Fullwood. Nice cut inside to the 24-yard line.
We talked to Lindy Infante. We keep bringing this up about Brent Fullwood and how much he's come along, but he said one of the things that's really made him a difference for him this year is the fact that they can leave him in on running situations, on passing situations when you want to go to the passing game to the backside of the backfield, as well as when you're 3rd and 20. You can rely on the guy to make the right decisions, be in the right places, and go get the football.
That's 94 yards now for the 3-year veteran out of Auburn. How about this?
Green Bay has 450 yards of total offense already, and we've still got 11 minutes left in the ball game.
They average 425 a game. Straight up the middle they go. Jeffcoat hits Fullwood. And they'll run him back, but they'll mark his forward progress.
Yeah, I like Jim Jeffcoat. Now, see, defensive lineman, he's got the towel hanging down there and everything. You know, they look fast. You know, defensive ends have to look fast, and Jim Jeffcoat looks fast. When you come out as an offensive tackler, you see the guy, see those arms, he got those long arms, kind of bent over a little bit, you know. He's scary as a defensive end. He looks like a guy that can sack your quarterback.
Looks like he has one of those Anderson staplers on his elbow there. It's not. I'm being facetious. First down. Green Bay has 23 first downs. Dallas has 9. The ball marked at the 28. Majkowski with time. Incomplete, intended for Kemp. But it was blocked by Lockhart, who got a hand on it up at the 45.
And he was just maybe 6 or 7 inches away from intercepting that football. Sat down in his zone and just barely missed the ball when he jumped up in the air. You can see him shaking his head here. He's right in the middle of your screen, number 56, Eugene Lockhart. Watch him and watch the face of Don Majkowski. Watch his head rotate around as he reads the defense. You see Lockhart dropping back in his zone, leaps for the ball right here and just barely misses the football. And Perry Kemp can't stop to pick it up.
Kemp had found his way into the seam. If he didn't get a hand on it, he was open. It'll be second down and 10 now for Majkowski. Out of the shotgun. Has the completion to Sharp. It won't be enough for a first down, I don't think, depending on where they mark it, but it will be awfully close. Lockhart with the tackle. We'll check the mark.
Sterling Sharp here working up on the top of your screen, number 84. I see the cornerback's coming up trying to get a press on him. He gets a hand shot on him right there, but then he drops back into the zone. That's Spencer Albritton, and he leaves him for the linebackers to pick up. Now, if you're going to come up and give a shot on the guy and stay in the press, chances are you want to stay with that receiver, not go to a zone. Why don't you just stay man-to-man, right?
Eligible receiver.
You're right.
53.
Sharp averages 16 yards per catch. It'll be third down and 1. First down, Green Bay. Fullwood went up in that hole with authority and went head-on into Randy Shannon.
I tell you what, and they ran right over Mandrich here. Now watch number 77. Watch his block here. They just bring down that whole defensive line of the Cowboys. Look at Tony Mandrich. Of course, it was a two-man block on Ed Too Tall Jones, but they really got a nice hole in there and really creamed those guys along that defensive line.
Mandrich spends over $200 a week on groceries.
That's outrageous. Good thing he's making as much money as he is.
And that doesn't count going out to the restaurants. First down at the 40. Haddix cuts inside, breaks 2 tackles, and bulls his way to the 48-yard line.
Good game planning here by Lindy and Fonte. Now you just take the ball and keep that time of possession up. Just keep running the football. Stay in the middle of the field. Don't take any chances. Tell your running backs to cover it up when they hit the line of scrimmage and just wear that clock down. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Dallas has got to try to strip the ball, make something happen here. You know, the Minnesota Vikings for years were a team that, you know, made you commit turnovers by stripping the ball away, grabbing it. Every time you run with the football, you catch it. They're swatting at the football, and that's what the Cowboys have to learn to do, is get aggressive in that area.
Second down and 2. Haddix bounces outside across midfield. First down into Dallas territory. Right now, let's take you back to New York. Here's Brent Musburger. Brent.
All right, Tim, just when the Chicago Bears had closed to within 7 points, the biggest play of the afternoon for the Buccaneers. Tate on the pitch, gets through a hole on a 16-yard run, and it is 35-21 in the fourth quarter. Buccaneers back to 10.
All right, Brent, it looks like Green Bay will gain some territory here if things remain status quo. The Packers 178 yards rushing, Dallas only 45. We've got 7:24 remaining in the ball game. 11-point Green Bay lead. This is Haddix. This time he loses a couple. Ray Horton filled quickly for the Cowboys on the corner.
You know, Earlier this week, I was at a press conference where Mike Ditka was there, and he was talking about how this Central Division is tightening up all around. You know, Minnesota's always been up there with the Bears for the last 6-7 years. Green Bay, he mentions his team is really coming along a great deal, and Tampa Bay says is earning a lot of respect, and I think it's earning even more respect from him today as they're losing to the Buccaneers down in Tampa Bay.
And the crowd likes it. It was just announced to the crowd here at Lambeau Field. Standing room only. In this old stadium. 6:34 remain now. Majkowski on second down and long goes up top. Incomplete. It was intended for Sharp.
Ron Francis had good coverage downfield for the Cowboys, though. Sterling Sharp ended up playing defensive back on that play, reaching in and slapping it away from Ron Francis, who had the interception set up. Here's another look at it. You see Francis is on the inside. He's got the inside technique. He will not allow Sterling Sharp to get back to the ball. Reaches up, and it's just tipped right there by Sterling Sharp. Good defensive play by Sharp.
Really was. That's an interesting way to put it, but that's exactly right. He prevented the interception.
3rd and 12.
Coming up, our NFL doubleheader action continues. San Francisco at New Orleans. Coming up next here on CBS. 6 defensive backs now for Dallas. 3rd and 12. Incomplete. It was intended for Aubrey Matthews. Matthews has had a knee problem. Orlando Infante said he would be a starter here. 4-year veteran out of Delta State. Couldn't hang on there. And Green Bay will have to give it up.
Aubrey Matthews was a fairly successful receiver with the Atlanta Falcons before coming up here.
So Bracken comes on to punt. Derek Shepard will be standing at the 10. Shepard is dangerous. High knuckleball. Shepard at the 7. Spins out to the 13-yard line. So a 43-yard punt, 6-yard return, and the tackle was made by Brian Noble, the linebacker. We've got 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining.
Pure, genuine, never heat pasteurized. A beer that's made unlike any other. Cold filtered to give you the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. That's the mark of a great beer. So tap into the cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
America's way to go.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
They call the man Montana. Mighty Joe triple charges the Niners against the Saints. A Superdome shootout today.
You know, the last time these two teams played up here was during the Ice Bowl, and right here, this is the area where the famous touchdown was scored in the Ice Bowl, with Green Bay taking it in over Jethro Pugh, and I think every fan of football in the National Football League remembers that play. It was right there. Sorry, Max McGee earlier down the field talking with Dick Nolan about that same spot. They were trying to find it.
I was a senior in high school. You were a sophomore.
No, I was a freshman.
First down for Walsh. He's in trouble, and he's sacked by Harris, his 3rd.
Tim Harris having another big day from his outside linebacking position. And if this guy right here works downfield. If he doesn't make the Pro Bowl, then there's no justice. Now look at that inside move, gets away from Gogan there and makes the sack.
A loss of 7. 2nd and 17, the ball's incomplete. Knocked down by Brian Noble.
You know, when you see an outside linebacker, defensive end take an inside rush like that, many times on the offensive line, you're either manning the stunt or you're airing the stunt. That time it appeared that the Cowboys were manning the stunt because Gogan never got any help from inside. So you have to believe that they're manning the stunt. But we'll watch now to see what they do when they run those twists. That's when a defensive end and linebacker twist each other on the line of scrimmage. That was a twist, by the way, when you see those guys cross after they penetrate about 2 or 3 yards.
Third and 17. Walsh in his own end zone. Incomplete, intended for Herschel Walker.
Once again, it was a twist on the defensive line that got the pressure on Walsh and made him unload the football. Watch here again. Watch these two guys cross in here, and you can see this pressure right in here from Robert Brown is what causes Steve Walsh to unload the football. Watch the twist up inside. Here it comes right now on the left side of your screen. You see Brown rushing the passer, and he gets right in the passer's face. He's got to dump the football off.
Saxon to punt. Way back in his end zone. Pressure comes from Harris. Saxon gets it off. This is Query. And Green Bay will have excellent field position at the 30-yard line. After a 36-yard punt, a 12-yard return. The tackle was made by Ron Burton, but the pressure was that man, Tim Harris. He almost had a block.
Well, you know, he'd love to add that to his repertoire. But when we talked to him about making the Pro Bowl, it's obvious that it hurt him a little bit. Feels that maybe playing up here, you know, not getting the notoriety that a lot of guys do at that position. And of course, you look at the outside linebackers in the league, you know, Lawrence Taylor and those guys are pretty effective. But there's no question, I think this guy should have been in Hawaii. Sure hope he's there. And I know the most important thing to Tim Harris now, though, is to have his team be successful.
Walsh has been sacked 3 times, 2 of those by Harris, and you gave him half of the first one. Brent Fullwood with an impressive run, spinning, driving, turning out of bounds by Ron Francis, but Fullwood was impressive, picking up 7.
Brent Fullwood up off the top of your screen. Now watch him take off on that outside corner. Good blocking up front, though. That's the key. Ken Reckers pushes his man. That's Jim Jeffcoat out of the way, creates that crease, and Brent Fullwood with some nice, strong running after he gets over the line of scrimmage.
Fullwood now 109 yards on 25 carries. The clock at 5 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the ball game. Fullwood carries tacklers to the 15.
I love it when a running game works that well. When you got a running back running that hard up in the middle of that offensive line, it just looks great. That's what offensive football is all about, lining it up. This is what the Cowboys would love to be able to do with Herschel Walker. Just get that running back up in the middle of that offensive line, remove the defense from the line of scrimmage, and just keep pushing the pile towards the end zone and burning up that clock.
That clock is burning, too. Under 5 minutes.
Herschel's looking at that block and that Brent Fullwood's getting and going, hey, man, I could really use a little bit of that. But, you know, with all the things going on in his life right now with the trade rumors and all the rest of that, you got to wonder how settled can a guy be coming into a ball game.
Again, if you're just joining us, the feeling is that Herschel will be traded maybe as early as this week in Dallas when the NFL owners meet. He turned down 2 offers this past week. Negotiations will start at $2 million per year.
An interesting thing that Herschel said was, you know, above and beyond all the rest of this stuff with all the money and all of that, the thing that he's trying to do in his life is he wants his professionals to handle the contract negotiations and trades and such, but he wants to keep football fun for himself. And the way to do that, he feels, is to remove himself from all of that and just play football. But it's hard to do that when somebody's talking about your future.
He said he can afford to do that. He doesn't care. He doesn't need football financially. But it does play on your mind nonetheless. He's a good businessman and a good person. 2nd down and 11. Green Bay. Play action for Majkowski. Has a man wide open. Didier to the 5-yard line. A pickup of 11.
Tim, earlier in the first half of this ball game, we talked about Don Majkowski carrying out fakes on play action, hiding the ball on his hip. You see how important that is? Because the defense can't see the football. All of a sudden, he turns back around. Clint Didier's wide open on the other side of the field. The reason why good play action, the defense doesn't buy Didier going out there and saying he's not going to get a pass reception out there. It's because of Majkowski and the techniques of what he does, hiding that football, and everybody in the offense faking that play action very nicely up front.
It's first down and goal, Green Bay. And Majkowski wants timeout. He's having a big day. And he leads 24-13 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Hall of Famer Y.A. Tittle was one of the finest passers of his day. Wide receiver R.C. Owens, one of the game's great natural athletes. Together, they saved many a game with a prayer of a pass and a honey of a catch. Although opponents knew it was coming, the arm of Tittle and the leaping ability of Owens made the play work. As teammates, their individual talents created the alley-oop pass and made Tittle and Owens the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
Murder aboard the Queen Mary made all the passengers wary. A cruise costing plenty of cash stopped being fun with a splash, as Jessica recalls wistfully.
An enigma shrouded in mystery.
Murder, she wrote. Then the Mystic Pizza guarantee. You'll laugh.
Mr. Loaf snapped his teeth again.
You'll find romance.
Oh, he is cute. He acts like white bread.
You'll feel good all over. For an absolutely guaranteed good time, watch the network television premiere, Mystic Pizza, tonight.
Strong arms and salutations in that one. Tommy Hodson against Reggie Slack, two strong-arm quarterbacks. LSU against Auburn. That's next week, college football, as it continues here on CBS.
I know there's two Green Bay Packers that will be concerned about that game. Ed West, tight end, is from Auburn, as well as Brent Fullwood, the running back. They'll be checking that one out on Saturday.
Here it's 24-13 Green Bay. 3:50 remaining in the ball game, and it's a big win if they can hold on for the Packers, because Chicago is losing to Tampa Bay. Brent Fullwood inside to the 1. Tony Tolbert makes the stop at the 1.
Watch the feet of the defensive lineman for Dallas. Watch and see if they are removed from the line of scrimmage here. Now see, that Packer offensive line is just rolling over top of him, reestablishing the line of scrimmage and giving Brent Fullwood an opportunity to push it on up towards the end zone.
Here's that Chicago score. Green Bay can pull within a game of the Bears. But I'll tell you this, Testaverde hurt his knee in that game. We don't know how seriously for Tampa Bay. Second down from the 1. Majkowski loses yardage to the 4. Eugene Lockhart, number 56, got help from Vince Albritton.
You see number 56, that's Eugene Lockhart right there in the middle of your screen. Now watch him play off of here, play off a couple of blocks, eyeball the receiver, the running back, and just go in there and make the tackle on Majkowski.
That's the play Magic ran earlier in the game.
That's right.
Exactly the same, and he dropped the football.
Eugene Lockhart is on it like a cheap suit.
How cheap?
About as cheap as that jersey looks the way he cut it up.
It's 3rd and goal from the 4, and there's timeout. It's one of the shorter timeouts. 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Majkowski, 19 of 30, 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Well, you know, when you look at his second half numbers all the way through this part of the regular season, they've been fabulous. Finally, they did what they had to, what they've been talking about doing for a long time, getting things rolling in the first half of the football game.
He told us yesterday that this time last year, it was all he could do just to look over and get the signals from the sidelines, remember the terminology, and make the call in the huddle. He said once that was done, then he had to come up to the line of scrimmage and start reading. He said by that point he was wasted.
And when he had to start reading, you realized he was illiterate. But now this year, he's really doing a great job. I mentioned before about the way he looks over the line, looks over the defense, and kind of reads through the different levels of what the linebackers are doing. He said his key read, though, is he tries to see through the linebackers to the defensive backs, and that's why he makes his reads for passing.
He looks awfully comfortable.
He sure does.
Not only with the terminology, but with the game plan. 3rd and goal from the 4. Majkowski to Kemp. Touchdown, Packers.
I think that was a little weak by Perry Kemp.
Not the touchdown. You're talking about the dance.
The dance, real weak.
That's his 6th catch of the day. And a 4-yard touchdown for Kemp.
Yeah, Perry, you're going to have to work on the end zone celebration a little bit, dude.
Icky, he's not. And Chris Jackie's extra point is good. 31-13 with 2:33 remaining.
42, the Bears, 21.
Now Perry Kemp is coming right at you in motion now. Majkowski just unloads and realizes he's got a blitz situation. Kemp just bows his head and goes on in the end zone now. But see, this is the bad part. Now watch the knee action here on Perry Kemp. That's the thing that I really don't like. I don't think he had the knees up high enough. So that's kind of ugly there. I don't know. I can't live with that.
Looks pretty good to me.
The touchdown did. Once again, Kemp, number 81, is going to be coming in motion. Boy, that's a nice pass by Majkowski. See how he let him out there just enough, kept some cushion on the sideline. And here's another angle on that dance. That looks like a little two-step there, doesn't it? You just leave me hanging on this one.
Absolutely. 2:33 remaining. It's 31-13 Packers. Chris Jackie to kick off. It'll be Dixon at the 1. He broke off an 89-yarder to start the game, and he carries this one out to the 33. So it's a 33-yard return. Well, it looks as if the Pack will go to 3-2. And the Dallas Cowboys will go 0-5. We mentioned it was the worst start since 1963. That team ended up 4-10 on the year for Dallas, but they won their 5th game. So this will be the worst start since before that. Walsh. Incomplete. He was a defense contractor who cheated on the testing of a vital piece of military hardware. Where did they find him? In jail. 60 Minutes tonight on CBS, followed by Murder, She Wrote and the CBS Sunday movie, Mystic Pizza.
That sounds like that Mystic Pizza we had last night.
Watching the ball game.
It's still kind of mystic.
Well, he's in a rebuilding program. He knows it, and he said it'll take time. He knows the weaknesses, and he's trying to correct them. Jimmy Johnson. Walsh to Walker. And Herschel's out to the 45.
You know, Tim, to get back to what you said about Jimmy Johnson, I think the people probably in the Dallas area were probably thrown off a little bit by the fact that the Cowboys were successful during the preseason. They started expecting a lot of good things out of them early in the regular season, but it can be deceptive sometimes. If you're playing in the preseason, you're trying to accomplish certain things. Other teams are taking a look at their players. They're looking at the guys who they may not keep. So as a result, you know, you're a little bit more successful. It looks like Kevin Gogan has got dinged up a little bit down in the field. But that kind of fools you a little bit. And so what you have to do now is you come in the regular season, you got to realize it's going to be a tough road to hoe for a little while. And just kind of settle in and stay in there for the long pull. Here's Kevin Gogan. He's number 66. Watch up here right at the top of your screen. We're going to see what happened to him on the play. He's working against Tim Harris. Tim gives him an inside move. Now he comes back, and boy, he just runs into Steve Walsh, and Mike Weddington was rushing the passer from the other side. Looked like he just got that arm stuck in there and got it jammed a little bit.
Dallas did take a timeout, so the Cowboys have 2 remaining. Green Bay has just 1.
Kevin was doing a pretty good job against Tim Harris for, I'd say, about 60–70% of the game. Of course, every great rusher is going to get a couple of sacks on you.
Walsh to Kelvin Martin. Martin loses a couple trying to gain some ground, giving ground to gain ground, and they'll mark it right at midfield. And that'll be the 2-minute warning.
Once again, the Green Bay Packers and the NFL
31-13, Packers.
What good is an abundance of rich, soft leather in a luxury car if you don't have the stopping power of anti-lock brakes? The all-new Chrysler Fifth Avenue. There is no luxury without engineering.
Miller Genuine Draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Glad to be in America, back in the good old USA. I've been missing my baby, the sweet green earth, and a pure simple meal made America's way.
A lean quarter pounder hot off the grill with crispy golden fries.
America's meat and potatoes.
I'm home.
That's McDonald's.
What good is more legroom than the biggest Cadillac if you don't have UltraDrive, the world's most advanced transmission? The all-new Chrysler Fifth Avenue. There is no luxury without engineering.
This will truly be an interesting week in the National Football League. The owners will convene and meet in Dallas, Texas, beginning Tuesday. We presume it'll be a 3-day meeting. They will talk about a new commissioner. Jim Finks still appears to be the leader. They will talk about trades when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys need players. Walsh now has to play with Aikman hurt. The guy who can really bring in players would be a trade with Herschel Walker. And it is assumed that will happen. 2nd down and 5 for Walsh. Has the completion. To the 34-yard line goes James Dixon.
You know, Tim, when we were talking with Ed Too Tall Jones and asking him for some perspective on how this team is reacting to, the difficulties that they've faced early in the season, he said, these kids come from good programs, college programs where they've never really lost. And I think that they still have a lot of fiber left. And as a result, they're not willing to accept losing. They always feel that they can do something else to make it happen for them.
Down to the 15-yard line goes Michael Irvin. 1:28 remaining. Dave Brown made the tackle, and Dallas takes a timeout with 1:28 left.
And certainly when you have a conversation with that young man, Michael Irvin, and you start talking to him about what this club has to do to be successful and how you just have to keep your head up and keep after it, he's a guy that can really lead you to it.
Well, we don't know what the future holds for Herschel Walker, where he will be, but today he had 12 carries, 44 yards, 4 catches, 45 yards. Do you think it'll be his last game in Dallas?
I think it very well could be. I think that if they make a trade, though, like Jerry Jones was saying earlier when we started this broadcast, you make that kind of trade with a guy like him, you've got to not only get draft choices, but also players that are going to make an instant impact on your club. That is starters, guys that you can rely on defensively.
Well, he refused 2 deals this past week as they were presented. We don't want to say those teams are out of it, but as they were presented at the time, Herschel Walker did not take those offers.
If I were a betting man, I'd say that he may very well end up with the New York Giants. We're back with his old blocking back, Maurice Carthon. He still has a home in the New Jersey area. I think that's the place he really wants to be.
He called Maurice, asked for some information, made some contacts. Walsh goes for it all. This is Walker, intercepted. Tiger Green made the interception.
Interception by Tiger Green.
Van Jakes, number 24, is going to come in on the blitz. You'll see him rushing the passer right there. He comes into the frame. Steve Walsh unloads it, and I tell you, Tiger Green has perfect position on the play against Herschel Walker. He looks like the receiver on the play. Read it all the way, knew where Herschel was going on the post route, and just stayed with him.
1 minute, 23 seconds remain. And Majkowski and the Packers can melt that clock now. Dallas won't get it back. Walsh's numbers today, 18 for 28, several drop passes, 189 yards, and 1 touchdown.
You're a Dallas Cowboy fan. Don't be discouraged, but I tell you, it's going to take a little while, but this team's going to come together. Got some good players down there, some good athletes, and you just got to stick with it a little while. It's no magic formula. I don't care who you bring in there as a head coach or whatever. It's going to take some time to develop.
Majkowski takes his time before the next kneel-down play. The Green Bay Packers, 5 points shy of being unbeaten, will pick up their 3rd win here today. The coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III. And they're going to give this to Lindy Infante. And it's cold for that. The producer of today's telecast, Bob Dekas, directed by John McDonough. And the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. The winner today, that man, Lindy Infante.
And the best part was he never saw the water coming.
I tell you this, he'll get into the hot shower quickly.
Now watch this replay here. Now see, this is the key right here where you dump it on the coach's head right there. You better make sure he's a happy man when he goes into the locker room. Tim Harris and Sean Patterson enjoying themselves after a great victory for the Packers.
For Dan Jiggets, I'm Tim Brandt. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. 31-13 the final.
One airline works harder than any other to make sure that a good landing not only means getting you there on time, but landing your bag in your hand on time as well. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Bill, you know, I don't know what I like better. Having to come from behind in the second half, or today, halftime, we're leading, what, 17-13. I'm going, I don't like this. I don't like this.
It was a strange feeling, wasn't it? What was this all about?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Everyone in the press box said, I don't know what's going on here. Can they pull it out? We'll find out, right? For the first time this season, the Packers actually had knuckles that were flesh-tone in the fourth quarter, not white as in previous 4 contests, right? Packers topped Dallas this afternoon, 31-13 to win their 2nd game of the year already at Lambeau Field. There were a lot of big plays in the game for the Pack. The longest and the best, this 79-yard scoring pass from John Majkowski to Sterling Sharp. Sharp cut it back and stiff-armed the defensive back to get in. The Packers never looked back from that point. 31-13 the final. Sterling with 6 catches, 132 yards. We'll have much, much more coming up in just a couple of minutes on Packers Sunday. Jared, tickets so hard to come by, believe it or not. 56,900 some tickets sold. Only 457 no-shows out of 56,000 plus.
When's the last time we've seen that?